Welcome to Stitch Crazy. My name is Bee Odie and I will be your host today. And today we are going to make this little small tote bag or makeup bag, whichever you want to use it for. I'm going to show you how to make this, and you can make them different sizes. Okay, so the supplies we're going to need are sewing machine, our cutting board, a rotary cutter, a scissors, thread, and I have another small scissors for little things, and our acrylic ruler. And then we will also need a pair of jeans. Okay, it could be light, dark, whatever you want to use, or if you want to mix and match, you can have one side light, one side dark. That's fine too. Okay, so I am going to clear my board here. And on this pair of jeans, I am going to take and figure out what size I can cut both the front and back at one time. So I'm gonna figure out what size I want to make this one. So I think I'll take my ruler here and we'll just kind of, gotta allow for your seams, so we'll just cut it off right about here. And I'm cutting over the seam, so that's a little harder. And I'm going to have to bring these down because I don't want to cut our table. So I'm going to cut this off. Now today I'm going to cheat a little bit and I'm going to keep this seam. And I think I might even keep this seam. You can cut it off. It's a little thicker, but we can maybe make that so it's not really on the corner. We can adjust it. Oh, this has got a little bit of a... I'm gonna have to cut this seam off because we have a little bit of a... It doesn't lay flat. When we bring it here, we have this little extra. So I am gonna cut that flat belt seam off. That's harder to make seams anyway. So we'll just cut that off. It's not too hard to do that. We'll just cut that off. And then what I'm gonna do afterwards here, I'll cut this off first. And then I'm gonna lay this out. I could probably use both seams here. And this side is shorter. So I'm going to straighten this one edge here first because I don't want to cut off too much of it. So I'm just going to lay this down and then I'm going to cut this seam off. See how we have a little bit of a wider edge here and a narrower down. So when we're cutting our seam, it wouldn't really lay very nice. So we'll get rid of that. And then I'm going to take the other side and we have a little bit of a... This is a little longer than this side, so we're just going to straighten that out also. Okay, so now I have my piece here, and I'm just going to put these two sides together. Now, on this one, I'm going to show you this piece here. I had two pieces, so what I did is I added my zipper first before I sewed my side seams, and then I'd have to have my zipper open. So then, and this one's got a little wider latch here, so this, you have to be kind of careful when you're sewing this. So then what I did is I took two separate pieces, I folded over my edges, and I aligned my zipper and sewed my zipper in. First I had this closed and I sewed one edge down here and then I sewed the other edge, okay? And then I opened it up. On this particular piece, now this is going to be a little harder with it already, the seams here. I'm going to cut this off too, because to add these little strips, you could probably get by with it, but then it won't be as clean. So here we are going to cut this seam off also. And I do see here too where it's got a little bit extra I'm going to straighten that edge Where if I would just cut like 8x8 piece, then you know right away that it's all square. This is so that you don't have to fight with it later. And I'll cut this off. On some pieces you can just use the seam, but on this one, I was trying to make it easier, but, and I've got 2 different pieces here, but we can make that work. Okay, so then what we do is when we have our pieces all set here, I'm gonna decide, like on this one, how I want to decorate it. On the smaller one, I just took and ripped fabric pieces because it was red and white and black, and I like those colors. So I just took strips of red and black fabric, and then I just zigzagged them on. On this one here, I found this multicolor zigzag, and there's 2 different sizes. This one's smaller and this one's larger. So depending on your piece, which one you want to use. I use the smaller one on this one, and I put 2 pieces. I put one this way, and then on this piece I put it the other way. So there's really no right or wrong way of doing it. It's however you want to make your piece. And then what I did is I went to my fabric stash because I thought, well, I need to add a little bit more onto this. So I went, you can, if you find another rickrack like this red, if it would match, or like this white. This is really a thinner one. You could use that on there too. But I decided that I wanted, for this particular one, I decided that it has a little bit of an orange in it, a little bit of green and yellow. So I went to my fabric stash and I just cut little pieces and I zigzagged them on. And there again, I zigzagged them kind of randomly so that it's real decorative. So now what I do here is I make sure my zipper's open when I go here, and I'm going to sew this together because I want to be able to turn it. These are the right sides, so I'm going to turn it with right sides together.
Protect your investment with Smart Farm monitoring from Valley Telecommunications. Get video surveillance cameras for your home, shop, or barn. Sign up now and receive 5% off of Clear to Their cameras and 1 month free of off-site storage.
Valley Telecommunications, the home team advantage.
Okay, so now I'm going to lay my right sides together, and I'm going to pin it so that it won't shift on me. So I'm going to take my pins. Now you can do this a couple different ways. Like on the ends here, I'm going to lay my seams down, and then I'm going to pin that one way, but you will want to remove that before you actually put it on your sewing machine. I'm just doing that so it stays in place. And then I'm just going to finish pinning the rest of the seam here, and then I'll flip it over and do the same with the other side. I'm going to find the middle of my piece there, and I'm going to pin it. And then we're going to take it over to the sewing machine. And I'm going to remove a couple things here. So once we got it pinned, then I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine. I'm going to take that out, and then I'm going to grab my threads here, and I'm going to sew about a 1/2 inch, 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch, whatever you want your seam to be. I'm going to back stitch so that it'll secure that. Then you only need about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, we're get to the corner and I'm gonna put my needle down so that when I turn it, it's not gonna move all over. And then that'll make a crisper corner. Okay, and then I'll just continue. I'm going to get to the corner again, and I'm going to get about 1/4 of an inch in, and you can either measure or you can just kind of use your own judgment. And then put your needle down, bring your presser foot up, put it back down, turn your fabric, and then continue. And then I'm going to back stitch at the end. Okay, and then I'm going to take this and clip my threads here. Because I back stitched, I'm not too worried about tying the ends. Okay, so now on our corners, as you can see, they might get pretty thick. So what I'm going to do, you can either turn it inside out with that thickness there, or you can try and just cut a little bit of the excess off. I've got my rotary cutter. I'm just going to kind of cut it across the corner. And I just made it like angled so then it isn't so thick. And you don't really have to cut off a lot to make that work. Okay, so then now then we're going to take and we're going to bring this the wrong side to the inside. So I'm going to take both my corners and we're going to flip it through the zipper. And there again, we can press the corners out with your fingers or get a pen or whatever works to bring this, to push that thickness to the corner. Just make it a little bit more crisper. And then you can press it. And then you'll have to bring these corners up on top also. So it doesn't take very long, it's putsy. It's deciding what colors you want to put on your little bag and what rickrack and lace, or you don't have to use fabric like I did. You can use, like I said, rickrack and lace, or like I have this kind of ribbon. You could use that if you wanted to. Just color coordinated according to what colors you want your bag to be. And I mean, it's just a little nice, you can throw miscellaneous little things in here and keep them all together. It could be a makeup bag, or like a little, for little toys for a child, or and this one here, I put a lining in it first, but this one I didn't put anything in there. So it just depends on how much work you want to put into them. And so now we've got 2 bags, 2 different sizes, and they're just made out of blue jeans and recycled items in your craft room.
Valley Telecommunications, the home team advantage.
I'm going to show you a show and tell project that I did many, many years ago. And how I kind of started this is when I went off to college. I was kind of, when I had free time, I didn't know what to do, so I would cut out squares. And you can make bigger squares. These happen to be about 4-inch squares. And then I would have to find a design on to put on the quilt. And I'm gonna bring up the bottom here. I started this like in 1975. I'm dating myself now. and I finished it in '89, so it's like 15 years later. What I did at first is I hand drew the designs on, and then I embroidered different embroidery. And as the years went on, I took like different patches that I had on my clothing, from like the braid over here to patches on there. And then I had like bread bag, Pat used to give you patches with Charlie Brown, so I put them in here. And this patch is like from my father. This is later in years where I went bowling, so then I got a bowling patch. And then as the years went on, I thought, oh my gosh, I got to get this thing done. I used like the Levi patches that were on your pants. And then I started doing, as the years went on, things kind of changed, so then I used like cross stitch. I would use they have like a grid that you can pin on here, and so this is like counted cross stitch on the grid, and then when you got done you wetted it down and pulled out the strings. So there's an assortment of patches that I did on this, and like I said, it took a long time, and I did it in 3 different sections. I did the bottom section, the middle section, and then the top. And so this has a lot of memories in here with these old patches and the old jeans, the hash jeans. That's another dating myself. But it's a nice memorabilia that I have. So this is a good way of using blue jeans, and as you can see, they're all different colors, light and dark, and a lot of these are my brother's old jeans, and we cut them apart and then we cut them into squares and just had a pile of squares, and then I would find different designs as I went. And like I said, it's all hand embroidery. It's not machine embroidery. It's all hand embroidery, hand cross stitch, and the patches are all from me, my family, and it was a good way to take these and leave them on like a document almost. So, and then I just tied it because it is so thick. On this one I did use, it's called Roll Velour, so it's nice and soft. And so that was my backing, and I just folded it in and stitched it down. And so I just tied it together with embroidery floss periodically, so because it doesn't get much use. But it is a show and tell project that I have from the past. So.
Sign up for HD or DVR from Valley this month and receive 2 months free and free installation. Call us today at 437-2615. You don't want to miss out on this offer.
So I'd like to thank you for watching our show today. If you have any ideas or you'd like to be a host, please call us at 437-2615. Thank you.